Hi everyone, my name is CTrebil, and this week I'm going to be covering my thoughts on the 8 great technologies assignment from this week's readings. And in particular, you can see that quote that I grabbed that kind of sums up my interest and what really stood out to me with this article. There were a couple references to the United States and how well it's compared the UK to the US. And this quote that I've shortened: the U.S. does other things on a far more ambitious scale than us. Their support for innovative small businesses is on a scale far greater than ours. That's the one that really jumped out to me because it kind of hits to some of the opportunities that I've worked recently with my job working for the Department of the Air Force. Um, and in particular, when talking about how the government funds these research development efforts in technology for kind of the benefit of society. Um, I think the Air Force has a very storied history of successes in this area, particularly coming out of the Air Force Research Lab. It's taken on, some different names over the years, but in the 100 years that the Air Force has existed, it has always been researching new technologies and pushing the boundaries. And those advancements have led to developments in commercial flight with things like pressurized cabins, modern communications in all kinds of forms, various electronics, different manufacturing capabilities, particularly in like advanced composites. There's a lot of 3D printing research going on now, and then also medical research and medical products have come out of AFRL. And one of the cool things that AFRL does is they have licensing agreements essentially where they transfer licenses over for their technologies that they've developed in-house to like state and local governments or industry partners, and even over to academia, so they can further develop these concepts that are being researched. And then one of the opportunities that I kind of touched on a little bit ago, or at least alluded to, is AFWorks. AFWorks is a division within AFRL, and you can see by the tagline there, Unleashing American Ingenuity. It is the small business innovation research tool that the Air Force uses, and that really plays into, again, some of the discussion points from the reading assignment of having the opportunity to fund some of these smaller companies that can innovate and be more agile and get things done quicker. And AFWorks is all about that. It's a concept to quickly integrate academia and industry, to find these new innovations, but then also find a way to transition the dual use capabilities of these, right? So things aren't just necessarily being developed for military or defense purposes. The idea is that these smaller companies will also have an opportunity, if it works out to where it can be a defense capability, but also a commercial capability. So it's a win-win on both sides. And then you can see from the investment figures, I believe AFWorks it got spun up in like 2019, but didn't really get full funding until 2020. So over the last few years, the $2.9 billion in seed capital that the Air Force has invested through AFWorks has led to follow-on private investments of a little over $27 billion. So there is obviously buy-in with this program, whether that be other industry partners or academia. There are other players in this space that are seeing the value that AFWorks is bringing and continuing to put funding against some of these investment opportunities that are promising to bring innovation into the space. And then the picture down below is something that I found from AFRL's public information. So you can see some of the industry partners that they work with, obviously, the big name defense contractors. But then also on the other side, you see some of the academic engagements that they have. And you can see the big red arrow, if you haven't already noticed it, where Purdue is a part of this as well, which I think is pretty neat. So if you want to look into it, there's a ton of other information on AFRL and AFWorks, a lot of interesting stuff. Thanks for listening, and I look forward to any of the comments and feedback that anyone has to share and having discussions. Thanks.